So we continue now solving with logarithms. We are going to be solving for this equation here. It says solve for t in the equation 1 minus 1.005 to the negative 18t power. Can you see it there? Divided by 0.005, and that should equal to 67.54. And again, we're going to use our calculators again, our logarithm buttons on here, and we're going to approximate the solution to 8 decimal places. So we have 1 minus 1.005, and that's raised to the negative 18t power. That's then divided by 0.005. That's all equal to 67.54. Now, in order to solve for our variable here, we first want to get the term with the variable all by itself. We want to isolate the variable first. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to multiply this by 0.005. And of course, what you do to one side, you have to do the same over here. So I'm going to multiply this side by 0.005. So then the 0.005 here cancels, and this one cancels. That's the whole idea. So this becomes 1 minus 1.005 to the negative 18t power. And that's equal to, well, we'll do 67.54, and we'll multiply that to 0.005. So this is equal to 0.3377. I still need to isolate the term with the variable, so now I'm going to subtract 1 over here, and I'm going to subtract 1 from over here. This gives us negative 1.005 to the negative 18t power. 0.337. If you go ahead and just go to the operator key, hit minus, it's going to subtract. This ANS is the last answer that was up there. This is a handy tool to have. So it's going to subtract from the last answer there, and I'm going to subtract 1. And that gives us negative 0.6623. Now that I have my term with the variable isolated, I can introduce logarithms. However, you have to be very, very careful at this point. You cannot take the logarithm of a negative value. See it here? So we can't do that. But since both sides have a negative, we can get rid of that negative, or we can factor that negative out. So I'm just going to go like this and multiply this by -1, or factor out that -1. Therefore, this becomes positive 1.005 to the negative 18t power. And this is positive 0.6623. Now that the terms are positive, now I could introduce the logarithm. So I'll say the log of 1.005 to the negative 18t power. What we do on one side in algebra, we got to do on the other. So this is the log of 0.6623. On this side, on the left-hand side, the power property of logarithm says now this can be written as negative 18t times the log of 1.005. That's going to be equal to the log of 0.6623. Now, continuing with our algebra, I can now divide both sides by negative 18 times the log of 1.005. These terms are going to cancel. That's the whole idea. That's why we do it. So I have t is equal to the log of 0.6623 over negative 18 times the log of 1.005. So now back to our calculator. Now keep in mind that when I enter this in my calculator, I want to be able to enter it properly to where the top part, the numerator here, is separated from the bottom part, the denominator here. So back in our calculator, I'm just going to type in the log. I'm going to put in 0.6623, close it off. Then I'm going to divide, but I'm going to put in this parenthesis right here. Put that in. Then I'm going to type in the negative 18. Here's our negative down here. The log of 1.005. Close that off, and then close off the denominator, this part right here. And hit enter. So this is approximately equal to 4.58962099. So now I want to check it. So I'm going to start back up over here. I'm going to check it and put it into this term right here. So I'm going to take 1.00005, raise that to the negative 18 times 4.58962099. So I'm just going to clear this out. I'm going to do 1.005. Use the caret key, raise that to the negative 18 times 4.58962099. You see that up there? Hit enter. So this right here, when I replace the variable t with its value here, comes out to be 0.6623. And look at this right down here. So now I'm going to take 1 minus this value. So now I'm going to go 1 minus. Now, you can easily type in the 0.6623, but I'm just going to show you a handy tool here. If you look at the second key here, I'm going to press my second key. Then you can see right down here, this ANS. If I click on there, I'm going to subtract the ANS, the last answer that it popped in, and that was this one here. Because sometimes it might not be 4 decimals. We're going to have a lot of decimals here. So sometimes it's a handy tool to have. So it's kind of nice to get to know how to use it. So I'm going to hit the enter. So that's this. That's this part right here. So now I'm going to divide this part by 0.005. So now all I have to do is hit division. Of course, I'm going to have that last answer, which is what this is, divided by 0.005. Hit enter. And look at that, 67.54, almost dead on. And we're done.